Did y'all know that stress could actually kill you? And I don't mean like a metaphorical death, like, oh my gosh, I'm dead on the inside because I'm so stressed. No. I mean like lungs stop working, heart is no longer beating, like flatline death. Stress does some crazy things to the body, and the crazy thing is our bodies cannot differentiate levels of stress. Basically, somebody breaking up with you could be equivalent to like you running from a bear. The same hormones are released in both of those interactions, and unlike most animals, humans don't know how to turn that off. So anyway, today I want to talk about what stress actually does to the body and how you can avoid that, manage your stress a lot better, and just like live life a lot better. So anyway, if you're into all of that, stay around, grab a bed, get comfortable, and let's get into it. If y'all don't know, I'm Jessica Banks. Hey, so happy to have you. Okay, if you never see my face, hey, I'm Jessica Banks, and I talk about all things on this channel: femininity, glow, and productivity. Today's stress. I taught high school health for 10 years, and I was super passionate about the body and overall health and wealth of the body, right? And to be healthy in all dimensions. So physically, mentally, financially, spiritually, socially, like all the things. And I will always start off with stress management, just understanding and managing stress, because the quicker that you understand stress, what it does to the body and how to manage it more effectively, the better your life is going to be. Like, y'all, I just simply don't know how to like stress that more, no pun intended, but for real, like for real. So before we can talk about like how to manage stress, you really need to understand what is happening when we are stressed. So there are 3 different stages of stress, and the whole goal here is not to progress through each stage. The whole goal is to manage the stress effectively at each stage so it doesn't move on to the next. So you have the alarm stage, the resistance stage, and then the exhaustion stage. And that's where things get dangerous. So let's talk about the alarm stage. The alarm stage is also known as the fight or flight stage. You guys know this. You've heard of fight or flight. It's actually 4 of them: fight, flight, freeze, or fawn. But ultimately, at its core, fight or flight. So basically, do you confront a stressor, which would be fighting, or do you flee from it? That's what's happening in that first stage. And one of the main hormones that are released here is adrenaline, as epinephrine, norepinephrine, but basically adrenaline. And we all know and love adrenaline. Adrenaline is great for the body in moderation, right? It gives us energy to do things. It even makes people do miraculous things, right? When you need to just have superhuman strength to save a puppy or something, whatever. Like, adrenaline gives us that extra boost. But long term, adrenaline can be really detrimental, because what's happening is adrenaline diverts blood from the digestive system into the places where we need them, like our legs, our heart, our lungs, so we can run away from a bear, or we can breathe in more oxygen. Our muscles are more fed and, ready to go. It kind of shuts off digestion. The body doesn't need to be focusing on digesting food. It needs to focus on running away from this bear, right? So that's what we get in the alarm stage. Again, if you stay there too long, you can start having digestive issues. And we all know that the gut runs the whole body. Like, I'm gonna make a whole video about the gut and just how imperative it is for you and your gut to be like twinning hand in hand. Gut health is like, is that girl, but we'll get into that another day. Anyway, that's the first stage, the alarm stage. Again, the whole goal is to stop the stress at that point, not let it progress. But if it does progress, you move on to the resistance stage. And this stage is when the body tries to regain equilibrium, like some sense of balance. One of the best examples of the body being in the resistance stage of stress is actually working out. So we know that working out actually damages the muscle. It breaks down the muscle fibers, so then it can be rebuilt stronger. Ultimately, that's what happens. You overload it with the stimuli that it cannot handle. It breaks down the fibers, and then it rebuilds the fibers stronger to handle that stimuli better next time. Okay, that's what muscle building is. And that's actually stress. You're just intentionally causing stress to the muscles. But the resistance phase is either number 1, it's going to try to correct the stressor, or number 2, like working out, is going to adapt to the stressor, right? And so this is where we try to regain a sense of normalcy. Our heart rate goes down, our breathing returns back to normal, our digestive and our gut is kind of starting to move back to some sense of normalcy. Again, ideally, you want to stop it here, right? You've you've made it to some type of equilibrium, boom. However, if stress is not managed effectively at this stage, you can unfortunately progress to that final stage of stress, and that's known as the exhaustion stage. And this is, in fact, where death can happen. Okay, in this phase, you are physically ill. This phase is characterized by not being able to get out of bed, needing actual medical intervention. Okay, this is when you are so stressed out that the body just says, all right, I'm gonna check out. Like, this is too much for me. This is too overwhelming. This is like not it. Like, I'm gonna just disassociate, and you need medical intervention. This is a very dangerous place to be, because obviously this can breed not only physical ailments, but mental ones as well, like anxiety, depression, things like that. But also, stress releases a hormone known as cortisol. This is the hormone that's the culprit for stress eating and that deep visceral or belly fat that concentrates around the abdomen. See, cortisol makes us stress eat. It makes us crave high fat, high caloric foods, right? It doesn't make you crave fruits and vegetables. That's not cortisol's job. That's why when you're stressed, you tend to comfort eat. You tend to reach for ice cream and candy and cakes because the cortisol is coming in to do its thing. That can cause so many other issues. Deep visceral fat is an organ that literally secretes cytokines. Anyway, I don't want to get too nerdy, but it's an organ that literally secretes hormones that actively destroy the body. Long story short, you do not want to have deep belly or visceral fat, because this is fat that surrounds the organs. And if you have fatty organs or a fatty heart or something like that, you're in a really, really, really bad spot. So now that we know what's actually happening in the body with stress and the 3 stages of stress, let's talk about how to manage this stress much more effectively. One of the best ways to manage stress, y'all, is to simply just delay your responses. Like, slow down. Everything doesn't need like a quick response. I just did a video on how to make your anger expensive, and what I was basically saying is, like, when you buy something luxurious, you typically pause before the purchase, right? You don't just jump full in because it's valuable, it's expensive. Your emotions should be the same way. Don't just like impulsively jump right in. Stop and think about the things that you want to say. When you do that, that inevitably lowers the misunderstandings, the miscommunication, and ultimately your stress level. Also, reframing the issues in your life. Think about the things that you can't control and the things that are outside of your control. If these are things that you're able to control that are stressing you out, fix it. Rip it up from the root. Figure out the cause and fix it. Like, if you have the ability to fix something that is stressing you out, it is crazy. It is asinine to just be sitting there stressed out. Like, take the steps, no matter how small, to fix it. And if it's something that you simply cannot control, then it's time to pivot, right? Like, you don't have to spiral forever about a situation that you cannot control. You have to learn how to pivot, forgive yourself or others or whatever needs to happen in that situation. But you must, it's integral. Seriously, pivot and learn to move on and move on better. Another way to deal with stress too, which I think like maybe this might be a little out there, but clean up. I really do believe that even when things are going crazy in your life, if you come home to a clean and like welcoming space, things just seem a lot lighter. I think a lot of times stress is compounded by a messy or unproductive environment. Like, you cannot grow and strive in unproductive soil or an environment. So that's one tip that I'm just like, anytime you're stressed out or going through something mentally, I'm definitely going to always suggest starting with just cleaning up. Like, declutter the things and watch how much better you feel. Get a hobby, guys. Like, figure out healthy ways to decompress from things. Like, the time to take a break is not when your battery is completely depleted. The time to take a break is when you're like at 50%. So figure out healthy ways to decompress. Do Pilates, become a Pilates hottie. Maybe join a running club or boxing, whatever it is. That way, like, when everyday minimal daily stressors pile up, it's not so overwhelming. You have small outlets to like let that steam off. And speaking of daily stressors, I want to talk about the difference between daily stressor and a major stressor. Major stressors are like the big things like death and grief and, divorce. Like, those type of things are our major stressors. And daily stressors are little things like traffic and gossip and hard days at work and, just small things like this. Now, a lot of times we only start to seek help or figure out ways to intervene when we notice these like big major stressors, but that's where we mess up. When you allow daily stressors to just like ride out and you don't address them, they can compound and have wrecking effects on the life. Like, you gotta like nip the small baby stressors in the bud before they get out of control. You must learn how to manage the stress while it's manageable, not when it gets out of control. And one of the best ways and the only ways to do that is noticing when those stressors and those triggers come up from the beginning. Know the things that stress you out. Try to minimize those triggers as much as possible. If you know a friend stresses you out or don't align with you, there's no reason to continue to try to cultivate your friendship. That doesn't make sense. Sever ties in a way that's amicable, cute. Go be stress-free. Remember, if you can control the stressor, control it. If you can't, pivot. So anyway, that's all I want to talk about today. This was just like really on my mind. I just really want us all living a more stress-free life, because stress is really the silent killer out here. Did you know that Japan was the first ever country in the world to list stress as a mode of death or whatever? And everyone thought the Japanese were crazy. They were like, what? Like, no. But now almost every country in the world lists stress as a mode of death. Like, you can literally die from it. Like, you can have heart attacks and, you know, strokes and all types of things from the effects, the physical, the actual tangible effects that mental stress have on your body, y'all. Like, I can't. Like, mental stress manifests itself physically. Like, you can be laid over, you know, slow singing and flower bringing. And I don't want that for you. Like, I really don't. So anyway, guys, I hope that you enjoyed this video. Comment down below what you are doing to manage your stress, because I want to steal your ideas. I love that. Of course, as always, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe, and make good decisions and wear sunscreen. I'll see you in the next one. Bye. Mwah.